Words of Wisdom is brought to you by Essentia Health and TV3 and LB Video Productions.
I'm Frances Carlson. I'm 103, and I grew up out 34 in back of Shoals Lake. I was a Eidenschink, and Dizzies were our cousins. There was 9 in our family. I was the oldest girl. I had a brother older, and then was me. And I had very good parents. And you didn't have a friend. You had your brothers and sisters. And we lived way back in there. We didn't have any neighbors or nothing. My grandpa came from Germany, and he homesteaded that land. But his family, they gathered up their money, and they sent one person over here because Germany was so bad. They all wanted to come here. So my grandpa got to come, and he homesteaded the land. So he had 5 sons, and every one, he got a patch. And my dad, there was an old house on that place, and he lived in there alone. So, but he said he went to church, and my mom's sister was here working for that lady down at the lake, and they went to church. And then my mom came up here to visit her sister. Anyway, my dad said he went and bought them each an ice cream cone. That's how he met my mom. We had a good life. It was very good. We had our own jobs and stuff, and we had to go out in the field. We had to work in the field a lot. When I got home from school, I always had work. We had to go by the cornfields, and my dad would leave out the cows, and we had to sit by each cornfield and watch the cows so they couldn't get in the cornfield. I went to a country school, and it only went to the 8th grade. And we had to milk 3 cows before we went to school. And we had to walk a half a mile. And sometimes it'd be such a terrible snowstorm. The schoolhouse was on a hill, so we walked down the hill. We stopped in the neighbor's house, and she always gave us a cookie. And then my dad would bring the horse, and there was like 5 of us. He'd put it on the horse, and he had to walk home because there was so much snow that you couldn't get a car or go out the road. So when you rode on this horse, there was 5 of us on there. If you was on the back, when that horse went through them big snowbank, you thought you was gonna fall off. And what else? I made, before you went to school, you milked 3 cows, and at night, 2. You always went in the barn, milked the cows. I'll tell you, I'd go in the barn. There were 8 horses here, and then my dad bought 2 Broncos. I had a horse born the same day as me, and that horse was mine. And I would go and I liked my horse. It was a gray horse. You know, we went over everything on our horse. We just jumped on him. We didn't have a saddle on it. And I would go, my horse was the first one in the barn, and I'd go in front of the manger, and horses like oats. So I'd take the pan and give him a half a pan of oats every time I went in the car. And one day, I throwed half a pan of oats in his, and I was going out, and this horse reached over and bit me in the shoulder. Boy, I had a black and blue shoulder. She didn't like it that I didn't give her some. I didn't know that horses had that much sense. Oh, you should have seen my shoulder. She reached way over the fence. The chicken barn was my job. So I had to go up in the granary, get the oats, water the chickens, and we had a wood stove in there to keep the chickens warm. You had a pile of wood along the wall, so you could put the wood in the stove, and you had to give the chickens water, and of course you had to walk to a pump house and stuff, and that was my job. You had to go to the granary and get the oats and stuff, the feed, and it was quite a ways then to the chicken barn. That's one thing. They laid a lot of eggs, and my dad took them to town for money, and they had nests, and I had to get the eggs out of the nest, take them in the house, and you had a crate you had to put them in. You had to clean them good. But when you reached in that nest, sometimes there was a snake in there. You had to get the snake out so you could get the eggs. So, and what else? Yeah, we had sheep, pigs, everything. Billy goats, dogs, cats. Had a lot of different animals. So, but I liked it on the farm. It was good. I had a busy life, though. I had a lot. I had to take care of a lot of babies, I'll tell you that. Because I had to help my mom. She always had to bake bread and, you know, make the meals and everything. And I had a sister next to me, and she was real good. She could make pies and everything a lot better than me. But my mom, she absolutely loved the garden. So my dad, he'd plow up a space, and she would go down in the garden, and we had to set the table and help. My sister, she liked to cook, so she would help with the supper. My mom would fix it, and then she'd go in the garden when we got home from school. When I got 16, my mother's sister worked for a real rich governor. The governor had died, but the wife was living. In Detroit Lakes, she had a monster of a house. And my mother's sister wanted to get married, and she didn't want that job anymore. So the governor of North Dakota's wife, you should have seen that house. It was beautiful. She said, all I want is a companion. So I was 16, and I went there to live with her, and she was so good to me.
And where was that?
It's down on Detroit Lakes, and it's still there. A big mansion of a house.
Like by the Holiday Inn area? Like,
yeah, and the Holiday Inn is here, and her house was over here. It's kind of on a curve. I never ever got out to eat or anything, but we went to a restaurant and met her friends. Then when the fall came, she said, Fran, I have a big house in Aberdeen, and I have one in California, and I want you to go with me. And I started to cry. I said, I don't want to go. I said, I miss my sisters and brothers so much. So Mrs. Blanding was a good friend of hers. So she asked me to come and help her. She wasn't real well, and she had two girls the same age as me, but they were in high school, and I was high school age, you know. So I had to do all the cleaning and everything. So, but she was good to me. Norby's, you know, Norby's and Blandings, they were related. Mrs. Blanding was a Norby. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a long time ago. But there were two Blandings. There was Harry and Charlie, and they owned a store. Then it was Maid's Day on Thursday, and all the girls, everybody had a maid, everybody. And then we'd go down shopping a little bit together. Yeah. So.
That was the day you would get off?
Yeah, Thursday afternoon. So, yeah, Blandings, they were pretty nice. But they had two girls the same age as me, and of course they had a lot of nice clothes. And I had 5 sisters, and Mrs. Blanding would give me their clothes. And boy, we was so happy to get them. We never had a snowsuit or not, and we had overalls. And we would get the nicest clothes from them. So, yeah.
So would you become friends with the other maids that would come and shop?
Yeah. The one worked for a doctor, and one worked for, and we'd go downtown together. And we never ate lunch because we always got plenty of food. We thought that was ridiculous to go in a restaurant and eat. I worked for her for a while, and then my cousin came home, and she had the governor's son she worked for. And they had 2 little boys, and so I worked for them. And then they were going to California, and they had 4 maids, and they didn't need me. So then I come home, the war broke out and stuff, and I went to Minneapolis with my 3 sisters, and the war was on, and we all married guys from the service. And we stayed there till we got married. And my husband's family, they come from Sweden, and she did with 4 kids. But my husband was born over here. So you know what? He had to go to the war. So I didn't meet him till after the war. So, but he was really good. I had to learn how to eat lifts on all that, all that stuff. Well, his name was Albert Carlson, and I had a son, Harvey, and Nancy, and Colleen, and Richard.
How long were you married for?
49 years we were married, but we didn't make it to 50. We didn't make it to 50. I got 7 great-grandchildren, 7 grandchildren, and all my nephews come and see me. They all come and visit me here. Yeah, I always got a lot going on. I don't have to worry about getting lonely. My youngest son got 5 years old. And Nancy, my daughter, she said, you might want to get out a little bit because you're home a lot. And then I sewed a lot, made quilts. And she said, we went and eat Minnesota Fabrics because I love fabrics. And a clerk came up to me and she said, can I help you? And my daughter said, my mom, she might like a job. And she said, oh, good, do you want to talk to the boss? And I said, Nancy, I don't know if I want to go to work, because my husband, he didn't want to. She said, you go up and talk to the boss. And he was a young guy. You know what he said? I'm telling you this for a reason. He said, I'm going to make you head cashier. I said, I only had an 8th grade education, and I said, my husband won't even let me touch his checkbook. And he said, I like you. I'm going to send you to school. He sent me to school for 5 days. I did get the job ordering the money. They had 4, then everybody sewed, everybody in that Southtown. That was a good business. And so I ordered all the money for the registers. They had 4 registers, $4,000 each one took in every day. And I ordered the money, and I was head cashier. And the reason I'm telling you this, they closed the store, the insurance company, everything. And I'm still getting a pension at 103. They put it right in the bank. Nancy's boy was in the service, in the war. So what I did, I took the train to Nancy because I wanted to see her boy. He was coming home from the war. And so then we had a dinner and everything, and then she said, we're going to Harvey for your birthday. And she said, Mom, you're in such good shape. She said, they're having a marathon here tomorrow. And I said, Nancy, I am not going to do that. She said, Mom, you're in good shape, and I know you can do it. And so we ate supper, and then she said, I signed you up. I signed you up. So in the morning we got up, and it was 3.5 miles, I think. And of course, all the runners had big suits on and tennis shoes. I had 99-cent tennis shoes on and stuff. And then I said, well, Nancy, I'll try it. So it was, of course, there was a lot of people run, but they went by age. And so I went in there.
How old were you?
I was 90. And then I started running. She said, Mom, don't start out real fast, but when you see the line, she said, pump it up. You know, and when I got there, they were announcing the winners. And I heard them say 85-year-old lady, and I thought, oh, that's my race, because they was going to give the medal to her. And the judge said, wait a minute, there's one lady coming in yet. And it was me. And he said, you know what, your time is better than her. So they said, you're going to get the medal. So I got the medal, and the judges, they all hugged me and stuff. And so then the next day we were going for my birthday to Harvey. And a lot of my nieces and nephews and everybody was coming. You know what I had a shirt, of course, and that big medal on. And them kids said, is this a joke or what? And Harvey said, no, it's for real. But I tried everything. That's why I'm so healthy. I don't have any broken bones. I don't have no arthritis, nothing. Because I roller skate, dancing, roller skating, ski, did everything. And till 102, I went to the dances. And you know, there's a lot of men have lost their wives, and same way with the women. And we would go there and we would dance every dance. But I had a good life, and it's still good. Of course, the only thing I do, I get tired. I said, I got everything, and I told my doctor, I said, can't you give me something so I don't get tired? He said, Fran, you're 100 years old.
Did you do anything during the war?
I was in Minneapolis, and my brother got a letter in the mail. It said, 7 days be in Fort Snelling. You're going to war. And my mom called me up and she said, you have to take him. Come home and take John. And you know, I was kind of a wishy-washy person. And she said, don't be sobbing there now. So you know what? I went home, I picked him up, and I had to take him to the train. And I never knew if I'd ever see him again. So I did. I took him to the train. He got on the train and went to Fort Snelling. But he saw a lot of war. So did Al, but I didn't know Al. And I wrote to him every day. One day he was in the tank, and the tank got blown up, and he said, I don't have any paper or nothing. Can you send me some pencils and paper? Because he wrote me quite a bit. But he didn't have a real good education, because they worked on a farm. And they got to take off school to help on the farm. So he didn't have, I worried about him because he didn't have a real good education so much. He did come home. He did come home. We went over there. He said, the whole group went over there, and I went to the concentration camps and everything. First we come in there, and here was a big jar. And it was all gold in there. And I said, what is that? And they said, that's the gold teeth they took out of the prisoners. Well, Al said when they come in there, the people loved and hugged them and everything, because they were the first guys in there. But then they told us there was a building there, and they said there was 500, not 500, there was quite a few of us took that trip because they wanted to go back over there. And they said, this is what they told the families. Go in this building, we're going to give you a shower. Get your families together. And then they said, look up. There was gas. And they said they told families to go in there and they'd turn it on. But Al said when they got over there, you could smell them a long ways. And he said them people were piled up like corduroy sticks. And he said there was an old lady, and she come and she hugged him, because Al and his buddies were the first ones in there. And he said, this lady, she was an old lady, and she hugged him and she cried, and she said, we're so glad you guys came. And then Al said, let's go over there and say goodbye to that old lady, because they were leaving that camp. And they went over there and they said she died last night. And they asked how old she was. They said 36. Al said she looked so old. But why we got to go over there was that they built a monument for the soldier boys. And it's at Mauthausen. There's a star. It's halfway to heaven. You can barely see the top, a big star. And there's boards going down to the ground. And they got every single unit on there. It's really something to see.
What do you like about Oak Crossing? What do you like to do here?
I like the girls. They're all so good to me. They help, yeah. They come in and a lot of them, they're really nice to me.
Is there any activities that you like to do here?
Bingo, yeah, get a glass of wine. They got something all the time. Ice cream, social, and they got a lot going on. I usually go to most of them.
Do you have any words of wisdom or advice you would want to give to people?
Yeah. Be happy and be good to people. You can do so much. I know I had neighbors in my condo, girls, they lost their husband, and they said, I'm so bored, I'm so bored. I said, you know, in Detroit Lakes, there's so many people would just love to talk to somebody. So, and help people. Help people. You see in Detroit Lakes, there'll be an old lady can hardly walk, and some kids, they'll go through the door ahead of us. Boy, I'll tell you, we weren't trained like that. My mom and dad, they were really good. And I had a lot of uncles and aunts and cousins, and they always helped each other. They would help each other a lot.
Essentia Health, our presenting sponsor, is proud to bring you Words of Wisdom. And TV3 and LB Video Productions.